Welcome to the Water Cooler episode 146. Today we're talking about purchasing third-party WordPress themes and plugins. And I'm hosting today. Jason couldn't make it, but we're going to start on my left, your right, your right, my whatever, with Chris Ford. Introduce yourself. Go.
Hi, my name's Chris Ford. I work with WordPress and recently moved from being a freelance designer to a project manager at CrowdFavorite. One of these days, I may blog at creativityincluded.com again.
Given your new boss, I'm guessing that's going to be a little bit sooner than later.
As long as it's
Probably.
consistent. As long as it's consistent, I blog annually. He blogs daily. Robinson.
I blog sporadically.
Hey, my name's Chris Robinson. I design and develop premium themes, primarily over on ThemeForest, and you can find me on Twitter at Contempo and ContempoGraphDesign.com.
Russ.
Hey, I'm Russ, lead organizer of WordCamp Vegas, and I've built a few themes, sold a few plugins, and last night I was on the strip, and I don't remember how I got home.
Wait, last night you strip? Is that a new career choice? Is that what you're saying?
Is that
Announcing your retirement from WordPress?
Yes, I am.
Moving right along.
And it's done now.
Hi guys,
Sarah.
my name is Sarah. I'm the production manager at Zeek Interactive, and I do the OC WordPress design meetup. Right, that's the name of it.
All easy for you to say.
Everyone knows exactly who they are today.
Say.
Oh, speaking of, I know who I am. I am Say Read Media. No, I'm Say Read.
This is going swimmingly today.
Jason, it falls apart without you.
All over the WordPress. I'm going to WordCamp US. I bought my tickets yesterday because I just decided to do it. At Say Read Media on all the things. Ba-dum-bow-bow.
Suzette.
Hello, everybody. I'm Suzette Franck. I am a teacher with Girl Develop It, and I will be speaking at the OC General Meetup WordPress tonight.
Ow!
And I'm Steve Zehngut. I am the founder of Zeek Interactive, and I normally host the OC WordPress Meetup, but tonight it will be hosted by David Markowski right here at my office at 7 o'clock. So before we get into the topic, actually say you mentioned something. Let's talk about what WordCamp US is.
I'm super excited, and they haven't even released tickets or anything, but it's not even on WordCamp Central. But Matt Mullenweg posted on his blog that it's where is it? Philadelphia, December 4th through 6th, and I am excited because I like the idea of that national scope of conversation and taking it from the hyper local to the macro and talking about the state of WordPress at that level. I'm excited.
Why wasn't that our theme today?
WordPress
Talk about it next week, but let's get into today's topic. So today's topic is purchasing third-party WordPress themes and plugins. So, since I'm the host and I'm playing the part of Jason, how does someone purchase a third-party WordPress theme or plugin?
What is a WordPress plugin or theme?
According to Wikipedia,
buy something.
I made that joke earlier, Steve, that you were just going to keep talking to yourself for the first 10 minutes.
It's monologue, man.
all right,
Just
I'm
gotta
asking the
do
group.
it.
All right.
Podcast, Steve talks to himself.
So plugins and themes are ways that you can extend your WordPress install by
Thank you, Sarah.
adding in little bits of code that other people have created so that you don't have to go to all the time and trouble of creating this stuff yourself in order to get all this additional functionality that WordPress core does not come with out of the box.
Did you just read that?
No.
Out of your.
I am that good, off the dome.
But in this case, we're talking specifically about ones you purchase, i.e. not plugins from the repository or themes from the repository, but specifically third-party plugins and themes like the ones that Chris Robinson mentioned earlier, coming from ThemeForest or coming from Mojo Themes or all of these other ones. So I kind of brought this topic up just because I was literally working with some third-party plugins yesterday, and so I wanted to kind of talk to everybody, and there wasn't another topic, so I'll take the blame. But basically,
According to Wikipedia, a third-party developer is a hardware or software developer independent of the primary product or platform that the consumer is using.
I think I gave that definition 2 episodes ago when we talked about what a plugin is and how to build your own.
Russ, you are bleeding edge.
All right, everybody. The point being is that also we had a reader message us, a viewer. People aren't reading. A viewer message us and talk to us that Envato has posted super way less profits in its last profit report. Did anyone follow that link?
No, but it sounds interesting.
No, doesn't that sound interesting? And if I had actually done any homework, then that would probably be cool to talk about.
For our viewers that don't know, what's Envato?
I don't know. Steve, what is Envato?
It's a marketplace where people put together code and plugins and themes and things of that nature. It goes by the names ThemeForest, Code Canyon.
Audio Jungle.
Yeah, they have a bunch of different ones where you just kind of put your stuff on there and then other people come and buy them, and it all is Googled and everything, so that if you want to find stuff, you just Google it, and sometimes it comes up from there.
Suzette.
The one important thing to note about ThemeForest and all those different places is that those themes and plugins are not vetted. That means anybody they're not vetted. They're really?
They're not vetted to the standards. Okay, they're not exactly vetted to the same standards as like WordPress.org plugins, but they're still highly combed through, and the review process on ThemeForest, I mean, any of the Envato marketplaces, has gone from, back in the day in 2008, from not so great to now it's getting pretty hard to get stuff through without it being very, very, tight. I mean,
well, that's promising.
So have you sold things through?
Very whatever goes, like Wild Wild West.
It was Chris, have you sold things through Envato?
Yeah, I've sold almost $1 million worth of WordPress themes.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Nice.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing, because so for my clients, and this has been something that's been, I came from building my own and building custom themes for clients, and because of the work that I do with the Small Business Development Center, I can't build those custom themes for people anymore. So now I am dependent upon either free themes from the repository or third-party themes that I can help my clients set up, and I can work with and set them free with, so that they can go do it themselves. And my experience has been painful over the course of the last few years. I think that in some ways it's gotten better, but in a lot of ways it's gotten harder because so many plugins exist within there that it's just there's no way to decide.
Compare
features
here's what I'm going to say, and I've had the same experience that Say's had, is I have not had a very good time with ThemeForest, and my problem isn't because of ThemeForest. My problem is because I see a wonderful demo of a theme or a plugin, but I have no idea how it's being used or what is being used to make that demo as wonderful as it is. So I always advise my clients to ask as many questions as possible before you pay, because I would like them to know what they are getting into before they buy this theme and find out that they have to learn how to write HTML in the page editor.
Okay, so not all theme companies are created equally.
Correct.
But some of the theme companies, some of the better theme companies that are out there will provide an export file that will get you close to the site that you're seeing in the demo. Chris, is this what you do?
What do you do?
I've actually previously, I'm actually just about to release a new theme, but it's going to be using like a one-click importer, and it's a true one-click. I mean, now it'll basically come with everything. It's basically like a database dump. You're just cloning the demo site. Before, if you use the standard XML import, you get everything but you get the content. You wouldn't get widget areas. You wouldn't get some of the options. There'd be a lot of things missing. So you basically get like a 75% of the demo site.
But what I'm getting at is, like, I just bought a wonderful theme called Mobius, and the entire homepage is built with like 10,000 shortcodes.
Yeah, that's all of that. I don't
But
is that an exaggeration, Rush? Is it really 10,000 short codes?
Did you count them?
Dude, not only is it a lot of short codes, but there's so many variables in the short codes. Like you have to define so many things. It was nuts, and I wish somebody would have told me or showed me something behind the scenes, and I wouldn't have bought it. You know, like.
So let's. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but Chris, let's go back for a minute.
Sure.
The one-click thing, is that a functionality that you wrote into the theme?
Actually, it's because I'm switching over in the options framework to Redo framework.
Okay.
And there's a open source add-on for that you can do. It's based off the Radium importer, and it's basically you just set up. There's a couple of files. You use a widget importer exporter plugin. It produces a WIE file, theme options from Redo, just a couple of different files, a screenshot. And you basically just from the admin, you have a one-click. You can import that demo. You can import another demo, and it's done within however fast your connection speed is, basically.
What does that have as far as a standard theme options panel, or what do you do as far as like maybe you're changing that as well? Is that part of your changing with your framework?
No, I'm using standard out-of-the-box Redo framework.
But does that what is its theme option panel like? Is that what you're using for that?
What do you mean by theme option panel? Like,
She's comparing it to the customizer.
What do you use?
Yeah, it's also integrated with the customizer.
Okay.
So all of your themes that you're putting out there, you do all of the modification through the customizer.
Well, no. Up until about a couple of months ago, I have not been using a theme customizer. I've not been using a one-click importer. So it's just been all that standard XML import, and then like Russ was saying that it's just kind of a headache.
What theme?
I'm not even describing getting to the import-export. I'm talking about before I make a purchase, I see this wonderful theme, and it tells me that it has 16 different home pages, and it's not 16 different home pages. It's the same slider, but it's like this home page uses a 2/3, and then this one uses a 1/3. And that's my problem is I would like to know how it's built before I pay for it. I don't care how I don't care how you import it, export it. I just want to know how it's built. Am I going to do everything in a widgets panel? Is it all custom post types? Is it all categories? I would like to know that before I say, here's $45 and I'm going to spend 5 hours with a headache.
But so what you're really addressing, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. What you're really addressing, Russ, and what you're talking about is UX. You're talking about an entire user experience, right, that is not really technology related.
Right.
No. That is completely 100% technology related. The theme options and how that's all structured. Absolutely.
Yeah. Is it?
Well, most
it's definitely the UX, but what do you mean technology related? We're talking about platform for a site.
I made the statement that not all theme developers are created equally, right? So there's a lot of themes that are going to be out there that are very technically heavy, technically innovative, however you want to say it. They're designed nice, they're good themes, but there's no documentation for them, or they don't hold your hand through something like a one-click importer, right? That's all user experience.
Well, I don't need them to hold my hand, but like Creasy, he has like the Enfold theme. He has a demo where you can log into the back of the WP admin and you can see how things are being built. And that's why I would use that theme versus somebody else that says it's SEO friendly.
And again, that's what I'm saying. That's good UX. That has little to do with technology. Sorry, Chris, go ahead.
No, that's the same thing that I'm going to be doing moving on from here, is actually supplying a sandbox, basically. Woo Themes actually did it way back in the day, like probably 3 years ago. They had a sandbox where you could log in, test out all the demos you wanted, see how the admin works, and then it would basically delete itself into like 2 hours or something like that.
Yeah, it has that right now. Have you guys looked at Toolset? It's where types and views is out of, and it's got a starter theme. It has a whole crazy back end of a sandbox with all sorts of different demos using different variants, and you can see both the front end and the back end. It's a pretty comprehensive.
You cut out. What was the first thing you mentioned, before types and views?
Toolset is what it's called. It's got types. It's the people who make types and views.
Okay.
Or like the overall name for what types and views is part of, I guess. But they have like a starter theme that goes along with it. But just in this reference is about the fact that they have a really extensive sandbox for you to try things out within, both the back end and the front end, which is pretty cool.
Steve, all I was getting at is that when I look at something that's for sale, when I can go test drive a car, I can get a kind of sample of an ice cream before I pay for it. When it comes to a WordPress theme, I kind of have no idea what I'm getting myself into until I build a local install. I import everything in and see what's going on.
Okay, so let me give you an example. I bought a plugin recently for an events calendar. I'll think of the name of it. But I had to buy it before I tried it. I tried it. It didn't do what I wanted, right? I wrote the developer, and he had a money-back guarantee,
Nice.
right? And he gave me my money back. I called him. I emailed him and said, "Listen, I tried it. It's a great technology. It doesn't do what I need." He gave me a refund. Is that good enough?
Well, here's the thing: is we're talking, in my view, the third party market is really about users, because this is not about developers. So it's not the developers. I mean, it's not the developer concern of, is this technically built right, or does this have good code? When you're talking about third party themes and plugins, you really are talking about, does this work right? Can you configure it properly? Yes, user experience, but that is also part of how it's built.
And that's what sells products.
Yeah.
What?
It's a way to differentiate yourself in the marketplace as an independent theme developer. If you offer those types of value-added services, you're improving their experience, and people are more likely to give you money because you're mitigating the risk of, because I got to say, I have a whole big-ass folder on my hard drive of ThemeForest plugins that didn't do what I bought them to do.
Right.
Yes.
So many themes.
I do. I have probably 15 of them just sitting in there that I bought and I tried to use that for some reason or another didn't work. They didn't do what I wanted to do, or they were too hard to use, or the client couldn't figure them out. And I agree. If I could go into a Sandbox and try them out, if I could get a sample of the documentation before I bought a theme or a plugin, as someone who used to do themes and now just buys them, I mean, I could see that as being a really great way to reach people and to get customers who might be considering a few different themes. If you make stuff easy on me, I'm going to give you my money.
Even document the screenshot, like a lot of them will have screenshots, both themes and plugins, of the front end, and that's nice. But the ones that have screenshots of the back end, I'm usually excited about, and that's why I'm also talking about the theme options panel, because this is why it's so, and especially now that the WordPress repository is requiring that all of the themes be use only the customizer and not a separate, third-party theme options panel. I'm interested in how that's affecting the market of the third party. Like, so for example, you, Chris, you said you weren't using the customizer up until a couple months ago. Can you talk about someone driving somewhere? Where are we going? No, but so you're talking about the customizer. You weren't using it till a couple months ago. Are you continuing to use both the customizer and the theme options panel, or do you have what's your setup like for your theme?
It's the customizer and the theme options panel, but basically everything that's in the theme options panel is now in the customizer.
Nice.
So, and it's not like there's going to be 5 billion options out there like Avada or something like that. I'd strongly am against all that. Anyways,
listen, we don't want to name names.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. But yeah, it uses both. So I mean, basically, because I think a lot of themes are now going to be needing to go to more of a drag and drop kind of situation where people want to see when they make a change, what does it look like on the front end immediately. So like you got to compete with all those companies out there like Wix and Squarespace, and everybody's going so simple and so easy just to make a website. It's getting harder and harder to sell themes to people without having all these things like drag and drop or Sandbox where they can try it so they know they can use it. I also do a bunch of instructional videos that I put out online that people can see before they buy the theme, of me going step by step with the voiceover, like, hey, this is how you do this, I do this, whatever. So
Chris, do you find yourself like trying to decide what new features you're going to add in? Like you just mentioned, everybody's going to this drag and drop. When did you decide that you were going to start getting into that? Like, do you wait to see some data, or do you just jump into it saying like this is how it's going to go?
I actually started using like drag and drop, not with the customizer itself, but just within the theme options panel for home pages quite a while back. and it's basically they were kind of static content blocks that you can enable and disable. Like
Right.
a lot of the higher selling themes that I have are real estate based, so I got to make it as simple as possible for realtors to use.
Sure. That's fair. That's fair.
Hey,
mean,
there
that's
may be realtors watching this, so be careful.
Hey, no, I'm not.
We don't want to stereoteop.
No, they are totally fine, and they are probably usually okay with saying things like, "I don't care, make that shit easy."
I've read a lot of that. I've talked to realtors personally. I know a ton of them, and it's always, you know what? I just want to sell homes or whatever you're selling. I don't want to care about the website.
I have a real estate business as well, and I get it. I understand.
They are probably the ultimate client that is like distance themselves from that. They're like, I need more functionality to Wix, but I don't really care how it works. You just make that thing work.
You said the
So if you're looking for something like that, if ease of use is really going to be important for you, what are some tips so that we can evaluate what we're looking at when we're looking at things that are on marketplaces, and just to make sure that it's going to, I mean, clearly it can't be guaranteed that we're going to make that purchase and it's going to fit our needs, but how do we get as close as we can?
I look for the words visual composer and or page builder in the description. They usually include it as a feature. They're like, free included plugin, every slider ever, and page builder.
And do you buy because of that, or do you avoid because of that?
I avoid those.
I avoid those, yeah.
That means that they're going to have that home page that Russ talked about, where you basically have to, they're basically giving you a design idea, and then you have to build it, which is literally not the point of themes in my mind, or even of plugins. But anything that has that for themes, I steer very far away from, because if you want something that you can build your own, you can use a theme that is just build your own, like Make or something like Divi or Div or whatever it's called, and really just build your own properly instead of kind of creating this hybrid half theme, half page builder weird monster thing that people end up with. What else do you guys look for, or not look for?
Seller feedback.
Yeah, I ask people I trust.
That's important too.
Customer service.
Yeah, customer service. So I usually try to read the comments of a theme or of a plugin, but I try to look for the comments that actually explain what's going on. Because, like, you'll get the comments that says this plugin sucks, and I have no idea why it sucks. Like, I always try to find the ones from somebody who says, "Hey, it doesn't work for me because it doesn't do this," and then at least I kind of have an idea. So I read comments a lot.
It's like reading a Yelp review.
It's worse than that. Like,
I know.
Yeah, but they can't be faked.
So here's the thing: is like,
or can they?
So here's the thing: is we all can agree here that we use WordPress.
I think we can agree on that, yes. Yeah,
so, but even though we all output the same kind of thing, I use WordPress completely different than how Sarah would, or how Say would, or how Steve would. So I want to know why it doesn't work for you, because it might be completely 100% perfect for me. But again, if all you say is, this sucks, that helps no one.
So you're asking our audience to start giving better feedback.
I'm just saying, give me a little.
You can ask that. It's okay. You can say that.
I'm saying, give me a little content.
If you have a problem with a theme, do you leave feedback and go through that next step and leave feedback and whatever? Because I don't. I'm out. I don't care. I don't have.
I leave feedback everywhere because I am a person that looks. Fair enough. No, like, I leave reviews on Google and Yelp, and I leave reviews because I want people to have a good time if I've had a good time. So when it comes to plugins and themes, I leave reviews as well.
But I think the norm is what Say described, and I'm the same way. If something doesn't work, I'm moving on to the next thing. I just don't have time.
Yeah, I don't sit there with the back and forth. And sometimes I do with my clients now because they've put in, $70 or whatever, and I'm like, well, let's see if you can get answer for this. Why the events calendar suddenly has no page behind it or something. But generally, the response time isn't something that back and forth right away isn't something a user wants. They just want the thing to work. So even if there is good response time from the developer on the theme or the plugin response, I don't know if that's good enough. It just needs to work. Damn it. I'm gonna go
Okay.
check out all of Chris Robinson's themes though, because
So
recently,
sorry, go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say, I'm totally blanking on his name. The Morton, who does the Linda WordPress videos. He built some videos for the WordPress repository, and they're beautifully coded. They work perfectly. It's my new default standard. So I'm excited to go check yours out, Chris, and see if you can be something I can recommend to all my clients. So
we're
but out there listening, if you make good themes and you want evaluation, send me your links, and I have plenty of test subjects. So
we've talked for 26 minutes about third-party themes. We really haven't mentioned plugins.
Oh,
Same
that's
stuff apply?
I think a lot of things apply to plugins as well. I mean, like you said, I mean, response, support, what other people are talking about it, saying about it. Yeah, it's a lot of the same things.
Okay.
And I tend to be a little bit more forgiving when I'm looking at third-party plugins to pick up. I mean, I listen to a lot of peer reviews. I don't really read so many reviews on websites for some of the reasons that we've discussed. They're not always useful.
Yeah.
We have a OC WordPress Facebook group, so people all the time are posting about things that they found that they really like. And there's some sort of third-party plugins that have sort of become gold standards, like Gravity Forms,
ACF.
and ACF, things like that. But sometimes I'm just looking for something where I'm like, I don't really want to sit around and try and put together all the jQuery I need for a big background photo. So I'm going to find something on Code Canyon that's going to take care of that for me.
Sure.
And then it's like, whatever, $10 and you're done. And sometimes there's a problem, but that's kind of the development process. There's usually a problem.
The one bummer about Code Canyon is they don't auto-update plugins. You just get an email. So every single time on this social media, like every 2 weeks, they release another update. And when I have it on 10 client sites and I can't just run the iSync on it, that's an hour out of my day that I have to spend fixing something for a client because I'm the one who recommended the plugin.
There's a plugin to help with the auto updates, though, isn't there? I thought there was.
Is there?
Batu actually has, I don't know if they do it for plugins, but they have a WordPress Tool Kit that you have to include with all your themes that will allow you to do updates within the admin. So I don't know if they have that on Code Canyon or not.
I don't think so. I think that's a newer thing that Envato finally put on, which has helped a lot, because I was going to say that, like, when you're installing this on client sites and then letting them run free, and suddenly there's no auto updater for something, then they're like, FTP, what? Like, there's no, you have to do it yourself.
Right. So, okay, but everything we've talked about so far, themes, Code Canyon, plugins, besides Gravity Forms, everything we've talked about so far is $50 or less, right? If something doesn't work,
that's one for $49.
Okay, but if something didn't work, I'm out $50, right? Here's the way I look at these things. I charge $150 an hour. If I can find a piece of technology that's going to save me hours, that's worth a $50 investment.
The thing is, these third-party plugins and stuff, you're not necessarily even, sometimes you are, but you're not necessarily the target market. We're talking about the user who's trying to build their site themselves. At least that's what I'm talking about. And they're spending $50 and they don't necessarily know how to try things on. For you, it doesn't matter.
What's their time worth? Their time is worth, their time has a value, right? So everybody that you're talking about could buy a theme for $45.
But I think the problem with that, Steve, is people blame WordPress. They don't blame a shitty theme. They don't blame a shitty plugin. If their first experience is a theme that doesn't work and a plugin that doesn't work, they think WordPress sucks and they never use it again.
Fair enough. And you know what? That is a perfect topic for next week's show, which is why we're gonna end right there. So I want to thank everybody for coming on this week. I appreciate it. See you at the meetup tonight. I don't remember what Jason always says at the end of every show.
Go
subscribe.
Click the like, subscribe, the show notes. I don't know.
He always says, stay classy, San Diego.
And we'll see you next week.
Wales.